tonight, because you guys have been helping me out, we're going to do a giveaway. That's right, an Amazon gift card giveaway tonight during the show. So hopefully, if you guys are here, we're going to be, somebody's going to be a lucky winner on that. So tonight, what can you guys expect during this show tonight? Well, you are going to not only avoid, hopefully, the technical difficulties that I just did, but we're going to be talking about how to conduct good paranormal investigations. This has been a heated topic among different people, and mostly just recently. I mean, in all honesty, not to sugarcoat it, but I've really gotten kind of pissed lately at the way things have been, handled in the paranormal community sometimes. And, there's a lot of people out there that are, of course, just like me, they're on YouTube, but some of them are taking things to the extreme, and they're not thinking about the consequences. It's more thrill-seeking and seeking views. So if you are out there and you're doing paranormal investigations, you're starting investigation teams, and people are turning to you and hoping that you're going to go to their house and give them answers, and you just show up, crack open some portals and break out the Ouija boards, and then, deuces, you're out of there, then there's a problem. Okay? So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight, was what can we do about this? Well, the best thing we can do about this is educate yourself. Watch videos like this so that you can start a team for the right reasons and try to follow a little bit of code of conduct. So how do you begin to have a good paranormal investigation? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do if you are wanting to get into it is to think about your team. So start to assemble your team. Much like, I guess if you want to get a little nerdy, is like the Avengers or something like that. You want to have a variety of assets. So assemble your team. Some of the different qualities you're going to want to have is, you want to be somewhat or semi-skeptical. That makes for good detective work. You don't want to just take everything at face value, and completely 100% believe, and because eventually you'll just blow everything up out of proportion, most likely. But observation skills, detective work, those are good qualities. Investigator skills, I know that kind of goes with, you would think it goes without saying, if you're going to do paranormal investigations, you should be a good investigator. But that just means, again, good observation skills, listening skills. Okay? Listening skills are very important because you want to listen to your clients, listen to what they're saying. Now, when I say clients, I don't like to say customers, because I don't think, customers to me are somebody that pays you, really. To me, they're more like clients / victims. These are people that are usually victimized, sometimes traumatic. Sometimes it don't bother them, but they just want answers. Sometimes they're scared. Again, it's going to range. It's going to vary. So again, it can be a little scary. There is that investigator skill you're going to definitely want to have. Empathy. Empathy is a good quality. Empathy versus sympathy, obviously you want to be empathetic to their position, and they don't want you to feel sorry for them, but again, you want to be able to empathize with them and be like, that you understand what they're going through. Also on the team, it's good to try to have somebody that is a psychic medium, or clairvoyant, things like that. Those type of things can help. Now, we're not going to get into the subject or the big debate about, is psychic mediums, even a valuable tool? Is it real? And, again, it's good to at least try to have a psychic medium, or at least somebody that's maybe sensitive in some things. Those are always good. As far as size of team, 1 to 4 people, really. I mean, 1 is not ideal. Usually when you investigate, you're going to want somebody with you. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to want to get into investigating paranormal, get you a partner. And again, if you want a well-rounded team, again, I would say no more than 4 people. You don't want too many people showing up and really overwhelming your client with a lot of strangers. In fact, when you show up on your initial walkthrough, your initial meeting with your client, you may want to either just go alone if you're the leader of the group, or maybe take an assistant or a partner or at least one other member of the team. Maybe 2 at the most. But again, you don't want to overwhelm your client right off the bat. But going back to the team, if you do go with like a 4-man team, somebody to have on your team. Also, you may want to find somebody that's good in like demonology. And I'm not saying like a Satanist. I'm just saying somebody that has studied that type of stuff, like the demonology type of things, religion. It's good to have that kind of background because, again, you want to be able to identify those things, and you want somebody that can help you out in identifying those and specializing in that type of stuff. So it's good to, again, have that. And again, knowledge of religion, that's something that's really important. You want to be able to be respectful of your client's beliefs, but also just knowledge of religion in general. So that way, as you're dealing with things, and again, it's just a good idea to have all those different tools if you can try to get them on the team. So when you get your team together, remember, again, this is going to be a process. A lot of times teams, and again, this is where we're getting into things, a lot of times people tend to think that it's just like the TV shows. And this is a big problem, okay? But it's not like the TV. You don't always just go in and it's like one and done. You're not just going to go in there, do a nighttime investigation and scary things and EVPs and all this stuff's going to happen. But to do an actual good investigation, it's going to be a process because you're trying to actually help people. Most of the time, people are reaching out because they're having these hauntings. They'd like to have some verification. They want to make sure they're not going crazy, or like I said, or they want it to stop. I mean, again, the levels are going to be the levels of need for your client is going to vary. But it's a process. Again, remember, it's not just for thrill seeking. You're trying to find answers. So with keeping that in mind, that it's a process, remember, when you are going out and you're doing investigations, okay, try not to over speculate, okay? As you're gathering details, when the customer's talking, and don't just be like, oh, well, it sounds like it could be this, sounds like it could be this, it sounds like it could be this. Don't throw too much out there, because then it's going to really sound like you're just throwing darts at a dartboard. Whatever hits. So keep that in mind. Just try to take in the information, listen to what they say. Again, listening skills, listening to the clues, listening to the details. But also, once you do that initial interview with the main client, that's when you're going to want to set up interviews. Okay, you're going to want to find out who all's involved. Is there other people involved? And then interview them separately. It's ideal to interview them separately because, again, there may be some things where you might pull a husband off to the side and he might be like, well, my wife's crazy or whatever, or vice versa. It could be the wife. She might be like, yeah, my husband's crazy. He's in all this weird stuff and, blah, blah, blah. Who knows? So take them off individually so you can kind of get, or that way you can get a good idea, a better idea of what you're dealing with. Now, another thing that you're going to want to look at is the teenage aspect. When you get like a preteen in the house, things like that, teen angst, maybe they're putting out some psychokinetic energy and poltergeist. So these are all reasons why you want to interview your client. You want to find out details about things, and not to be too personal with them, but you would at least want to find out, are things good in the home? Has there been adolescence, fights, whatever. It's good to try to professionally ask questions without prying too deep, but if they're not comfortable sharing, you don't have to press them. But it's good to get these ideas, so if the house is being fed with a lot of negative energy all the time, or whatever. Again, this is part of those gathering, right? Gathering all the clues. That's part of being a good investigator. So, and remember that you want to do it for the right reasons. Okay? Do it for the right reasons. Don't just go out there for your own personal gain. Like, yes, you are going to learn about the paranormal as you do investigations. It's a never-ending process. You're going to learn things all the time. But again, don't go out and do it just for that. You should go out and be doing it to help people find answers, to help people gather evidence and find answers, and then offer solutions to them. So, okay, so knowing that it's a process, again, once you set up and do all your interviews, things like that, now you want to find out, again, part of that process should be, when is your activity happening? Okay? Do you have a lot of activity? Is it what time of day, what time of night? Is it all the time? Things like that. Well, chances are it's probably not going to be steady. It's going to have some kind of up and down. So find out when your downtimes are. If it doesn't seem to be happening like in the middle of the day, then what I would recommend is that's when you're going to want to go during those times and get some baseline readings. Okay, just go around with the EMF detector, maybe shoot some video, shoot some, do those things ahead of time. That way you have some video evidence, take some pictures, some still evidence, maybe some, you might capture something, who knows. But if you don't capture anything, at least you have some references. So as you go to your investigation, say if it's at nighttime, now you can go back and reference those photos and say, okay, that dark shadow that I thought was a dark shadow actually is a coat that's hanging on a hanger that I took in the daytime. All right. It's just good to have those references, those baseline. That way you're not looking and like, oh my God, there's a dark shadow, and so blah, 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 and then you're drawing all these conclusions, and it could be wrong. Because remember, not all paranormal investigations you go on may yield results. You may go there and you may debunk whatever's plaguing them, and you may say, hey, you've got some bad pipes down here, or what, whatever. I mean, you may debunk it enough to where you make your clients happy, and they can say, oh, we thought it was paranormal, this whole time, But chances are, most customers, or clients, I should say, right, they will tell you that it's paranormal, and most of the time they may be right. But you're also trying to find out to what degree. Okay? So, what kind of equipment should you use for investigations? Now, they're always coming out with more and more equipment all the time. And I'm not made of money, so chances are you're probably not either, and you're probably not going to just go out and buy all the best things. And not only that, some of the things are made specifically for certain investigators and things like that, and they're not even available out there. So if you know a techie, hey, he might be able to convert that Xbox Connect or something, right, into into the Connect ghost detector. So just try to at least do video, have the ability to do video. And please, for the love of God, please have decent cameras and pictures, still pictures, okay? Because I can't tell you how many times I looked at pixelated, pictures, and yes, you can see faces in pixelation. It happens all the time. Of course, we all know the matrixing and things like that. There's scientific terms for it. I don't care what the scientific terms are. The bottom line is you will see faces in pixelated photos and things. So I'm not trying to offend anybody, and I look at pictures all the time. In fact, I had somebody send me pictures tonight, and I'm looking at them, and they're pretty impressive. But again, if it's pixelated, don't get your hopes up. Really. I mean, in all honesty, it's like, I'll just tell you how I feel. If I take a picture and it's a little grainy or something, if I was moving or whatever, and I see a face and I'm like, ooh, that looks kind of creepy, I don't like to just say, yes, it's a ghost. Okay? I don't like to just say, yes, it's a ghost. However, I would say that I would still be open to it. Okay? So you can still be open to it. But I wouldn't just go around and say, hey, man, look at this ghost I found, and just be 100%. And don't get offended if people are like, no, man, I just see pixelated leaves or something. Don't be offended. Understand that you want to have as solid of evidence as you possibly can. We all know there's never enough evidence for the skeptic. And, of course, when you give them pixelated pictures, it's just going to continue that. They're actually going to just be like, see, this is why I'm a non-believer. Okay. So, EMF detector. Try to have an EMF detector if you can. Nowadays, they're pretty cheap. I think they were pretty cheap back then, but try to get you an EMF detector if possible. You don't need to. I would say for sure, video, audio, and still cameras. Okay? Audio recorders. The older the better. As far as like if you can go back about 10 years and get like an Olympus or something. But the only thing is you just got to make sure you can still plug it into a computer. I've got one of my audio recorders I can no longer use. I can still record, but I can't download into my computer because my computer is too modern and there's no patch. I'm sure a techie could do it for me. But I'm not a major techie. I built my computer, but I'm not a super techie. So remember, get you an audio recorder. All right. Now, that's the minimal. Again, there is more types of equipment. You can get millimeters and K2 and all these things. If you can afford them and you want to use them, make sure you educate yourself on them and understand what they're measuring, understand how they work. Because if you're going to be a paranormal investigator, you need to understand your equipment before you really try to take credit with it and be like, oh, this is, right here, this means there's a ghost. Well, if you're picking up, a cell phone or something ringing or whatever, and you didn't know any better, and then somebody else comes along and says, no, man, you just picked up a cell phone thing. Like I said, you don't want to really be that guy. So try to understand your equipment, okay? As far as lighting goes, there's kind of two different ways. One, you could go with good bright lighting, like LED lighting with cameras and things like that. You'll see some of the more modern reality, like paranormal reality shows are going to that. Or even I've seen other YouTube investigators, or paranormal investigators on YouTube, I should say, using them, doing more of that natural lighting type thing where they're taking just a flashlight or bright LED light on their cameras and they're filming. Or you could do the traditional infrared. If you really want it dark and you feel like, maybe the bright lighting is casting certain shadows or something, you may want to do infrared, or you may do a combination of. So infrared lighting, if that's available on the particular camera. I know when we were doing investigations, we had some infrared cameras, or cameras that had infrared on them. But the infrared that came on there wasn't real good, so you had to get attachments to give that actual, light up the room kind of infrared. So keep that in mind as well. So just keep the lighting in mind as well if you're going to do nighttime investigations. Okay? So, equipment-wise, I think you guys pretty much got that. So going back to your investigation, when you actually go to start, again, make sure you have good coverage with your equipment. Okay? Now, tools for the job. Now, we talked about the equipment, but here's the thing. I strongly recommend, do not use Ouija boards, Luigi boards. I don't know. I'll just say it in multiple ways. Do not use a Ouija board at an investigation. Okay? Don't open portals. You're already going to be stirring up activity just by trying to communicate and stuff, but don't go in there and shake the apple tree. Okay? By opening portals and, all that stuff and using Ouija boards. I strongly recommend against it. Now, some people may give me a little grief. Comment down below. But it's an investigation. Okay, if you want to play around with Ouija boards and things like that, fine. Do that on your own time, in your own home, things like that. But I just really say, look, don't do those things during investigations. Okay? And here's another thing. When you're doing investigations, one of the most key important things is going to be controlling your environment. Okay? As best as you can. Now, you're in a client's home, so you should be respectful. That's another thing. Be respectful of your client. Remember, this is their home, okay, or business. Respect their property. Do your best to try not to break anything, or you know what I mean. But if the customers do not feel comfortable leaving you alone to do the investigation and they want to sit in there, hey, it's their house. Don't get upset. It's their place. Let them sit there. Or if they want to tag along during the investigation, that's fine too. Again, they're the client. Yeah, I thought like I had a spider on me now or something. Okay, so be respectful of that. Okay, don't just, again, keep that in mind, please. I've seen some disrespectful type people, and the whole idea is that you're coming to bring them comfort. Hopefully, you're coming to help them with answers. Okay, so please be respectful of your client, but controlled environment. So, if at all possible, try to know who's all in the house, what they're doing. If your client has children that are up playing or something, is it possible that they can sleep in a room and you guys can do an investigation during sleep time or something? It's things like that. You really want to try to make sure you have as much things turned off. If your client wants to sit in the living room and watch TV real loud while you're in a bedroom doing an investigation, it's going to mess up your EVP recordings or EVP sessions, things like that, or maybe even audio. But all mess up your audio, or the TV could be flashing and casting weird lighting. Again, go around, try to make sure things are turned off, control your environment as best as you can. That will definitely help for capturing better evidence. All right, and better evidence is going to give you good investigations. So, speaking of evidence, all right, evidence review is vital. Okay, take your time, review the evidence. All right, and thoroughly. All right, don't rush through it. Keep in mind, if you go into a home with like 2 audio recorders, 2 cameras, 2 other things, whatever, every device that records something, however long that investigation is, you're going to multiply by how many devices you're recording. So you do a 2-hour investigation with 5 devices, right? That's 10 hours of evidence review. All right. So remember that. Okay. Keep that in mind. So when you're doing evidence review, remember, Be thorough, as thorough as you can. Look at your photographs, and this is part of those observation skills. Now, I will say there's times when I'll take pictures of something and I don't necessarily see anything, and then next thing you know, it's like I'm putting it out in public, or I send it to my wife, and she's like, "Oh my God, there's something right there in the window," and she'll send me like a zoomed in thing, and I'm like, "Oh crap." So sometimes it does help to have a couple people look things over. If you have a few different people on your team, hey, maybe take turns, one person review, or have them do it the same, basically have them look it over twice. All right, so a couple sets of eyes. And also too, like the audio stuff. It's like there's times when I'll hear EVPs really well. And there's sometimes my wife's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Because like I'll be playing it like with the speakers really loud or something sometimes if I don't have my headphones. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I'll play it back, and then when she points it out, then I'll be like, "Oh yeah, there is something there." So again, we all make mistakes. We all hear different things. So that also reminds me, get good headphones or good speakers. Get an audio program on your computer. I have none to recommend. I'm sure you guys could comment down below if you have any good recommendations on audio programs. But since I haven't been doing EVP sessions in a while, I don't think I have. I used to have a music studio. What was good about the music studio is on my computer was that the audio section was great. You could put your EVPs in there, boost the audio, loop it, isolate it, really get in there. It had different filters that I could try to clean up things and, listen to it with different filters. So if you can do something like that, again, the internet's vast. There's a lot of free things out there, but get you a good that can boost the audio, or at least, like I said, good headphones, good audio. So that way you can review your evidence thoroughly. Okay? So, and then here's what I would recommend on EVPs. Okay? This is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, but I'd rather you not tell me what's said. Like, I can't tell you how many times people are like, "Dude, this EVP said this." And I'm like, okay. And then I listen to it and I try not to, like, I'll try to turn away or like just not look at them or whatever, not look at if I'm watching TV and they do, like the TV show, like the TV shows, man, they're like, "Oh, did you hear it say this? Did you hear it say that?" And they put the subtitles up there that tells you what it said. Well, when they do the replay, I like, my wife and I, we like turn our heads and we try not to look and we try to listen with an open mind. And sometimes we'll be like, no, it's saying something different. So, but I don't like to have that plant or that seed planted in my mind. I'd rather, like, if you have a couple of people reviewing evidence, if you hear something, just, ask them what they think and say, "Look, write down what you think it is." And you guys both write it down and then see if you're even close. And then you can kind of listen to it a few more times or boost the audio, or you know what I mean, and then you can kind of look at what you guys, but try to get some people that don't plant a seed in their mind. Just see what they think, see what they hear. It'll help you. All right, so now after you review the evidence, if you do an initial investigation and you really feel like you can draw some good solid conclusions, I mean, if you're like, "Yeah, I can kind of see what's going on, there's demons here," and whatever, then go ahead and start gathering that conclusion up. You gather your evidence, gather your conclusion, and then meet with your client and then let them know. But in all honesty, you probably should go a few more times if possible. Again, when I say that it's a process, does that mean that you're always going to be able to go to a client over and over and over and do multiple investigations? No. There is going to be, there is going to be times where it is going to be a little bit of a one and done, unfortunately. Sometimes we have investigations that are far away, and customers may not be paying you gas. I never ask for money from customers. If they're too far away, you can explain to them, look, I apologize, it's a little too far away, it's going to probably cost us a little too much in gas. If they're like, look, I'll give you some gas money, then I may consider it. But I really don't like to profit at all from the investigation. Okay? That's just how I am. I don't like to charge people for investigations. My wife and I, we both are like that. And my wife probably even more so. But we just don't like to do that. And we try not to ever ask for anything from that. So again, if you do drive somewhere and it costs you like $100 in gas and you ain't got money to go back, then obviously do a thorough enough investigation that one night at least. Try to get as much as you can. But the point is, if you have to go back, do another investigation, review evidence, and then once you do all of that, then you can kind of draw a conclusion, and then you're going to talk to your customer. All right, now based on what you find, that's going to be different. So, I mean, if you're dealing with a demonic case, clearly you're going to need to seek help with the churches, or if you have contacts, you've got to provide the right solution for customers. You don't want to scare them. Remember, your job is to bring them comfort. So, one of the things that drives me freaking crazy is that some of these paranormal investigation teams, well, they get hyped up and they're like, "Oh my God, did you see that? Oh my God, you got the all that," and they're freaking, and then the customers like, or the clients is like, "What? Oh my God," and then they're like freaked out, and you probably just made it worse. You amplified their issues. Stay calm, explain to them. Say, look, this is what I found, and we are seeing some activity, just like you said, and here's the thing. And then you want to be able to provide solutions. Okay? Now, if you don't know the solutions, be honest. Be honest with the customer. Client. It's a live show. Be honest with the client. Let them know, listen, you're having this type of activity. I'm not sure exactly what you can do about it right now, but let me tell you this. I promise you, I will find out some more about this and get back with you. Okay, I promise. We will look into this, and we will try to do our best to find out some solutions for you. Okay, so hang in there. We will find some answers. That's what some of the things you want to talk when you. These are things I tell their clients, because that's how I am. If I don't know something, or if I didn't know something back then, we're gonna tell them, hey, we will find an answer for you somehow, and then go back and start researching. Especially now we have internet. Put it out there to other people, other investigators. There's lots of them that are willing to offer opinions. And then once you feel like you may have a good enough solution, go back to them and say, look. Now, solutions. What kind of solutions are there? Well, again, it's going to depend. You're going to have clients, and this is part of listening. This is part of interviewing. You're going to have some clients that are very deeply religious based. We still have a large percentage of people that still believe in God. Church attendance is way down, but there's still a lot of people that are Christian or believe in gods and things like that. So keep in mind their beliefs. Don't try to offend them. Be respectful of their beliefs. And if possible, if they're very religious, certainly you're going to want to maybe refer them to the church. If they've already been to the church and they're not getting any help, or they feel like they're getting shunned or isolated, or then clearly you're going to want to at least offer them some solutions on taking care of, or how to manage or deal with their issues. All right. And again, I'm not going to go into all the different ways of taking care of spirits or whatever. You're going to have to learn that. All right. You're going to have to learn these things. This is the stuff that you research. This is the stuff that you learn about. And if you don't know the answers, this is stuff you will go and find the answers for. Now, this is something we actually talked about on the internet today. Was, the psychological trauma, the after effects of a haunting. People can be traumatized. There can be a little bit of maybe PTSD. Sometimes there is actual PTSD from some paranormal cases. But in any case, if you are not a trained professional on psychology and things like that, I wouldn't try to sit down and psychoanalyze somebody and offer, that type of stuff. Again, you don't want to, you're going to start getting into liability issues at that point. But what you can do, again, is you want to offer them solutions by offering your services to help find counselors. Whether it's the clergy, because again, some people maybe they were going to a church and they didn't know where else they could go, and maybe you might know somebody in the church that may be more compassionate to paranormal. Okay, I have a good friend of mine that he's in the church and he understands about that. So again, it might not even be somebody that's local. Maybe you're going to have to refer them to somebody online that could possibly help counsel them and give them some comfort. Professionals. Again, psychologists, grieving counselors, things like that. You should probably, as a paranormal investigator, and this is probably even going all the way back to when you assemble your team, is find out your local resources. Just find out who's into paranormal. But like, if you have professionals like psychologists that understand paranormal, that are sensitive to it. If you have clergy, again, the clergy, the religious aspect, who do you have that's, again, sympathetic to that and that understands that? You want to make sure you do hand them off to the right people when it comes to dealing with their spiritual and emotional distress. Okay? So these are all things that help to have good solutions. All right. So let me see here. I am going to look. I'm gonna have to look at my phone real quick, because what I'm wondering is my chat. I seem to not have anybody in the chat. See, here we go. See, my chat's not working, guys. So if you're listening to me, you're watching, I'm going to try to refresh it. Let me see what happens if I hit refresh. See, my chat's not working on my PC, but if I go into my phone, see, now I can see the chat on my phone. So I apologize, guys. Y'all been chatting to me, probably. So, oh. Alright, so let's see, we got, hey everybody, I'm glad to see everybody there. Look at that. Shout out to Gary. I see you see me. What's up, buddy? Alright. Rich with BRS Media. Hey Rich, I'm glad to see you made it there. Awesome. Alright, so for those of you that are with me, again, now remember, I did say we will be doing a Amazon giveaway. So now that I actually see I have chat, so I apologize if when you guys were chatting throughout this and I was covering everything. Look, just hang in there, because I apologize. I had to pull it up on my phone just to see my chat. It wasn't normally my chat shows up on the Streamlabs, and it didn't do that. So But okay, so how are we going to do this giveaway? Well, let's see here. We'll have to think about this. I was actually going to think about how we were going to do the giveaway, and then I almost forgot how we were actually going to do the giveaway. So, all right. So first of all, for those of you that want to be in the giveaway, go ahead and text me in the chat and let me know that you want to be part of the giveaway. So go ahead and do that. That way I know you're still watching, because I want to make sure that whoever's still watching live is going to be part of the giveaway. So that's step one. And meanwhile, while you guys register, like I said, text me or just say something in the chat that you want to be part of the giveaway. All right. And then meanwhile, while you're, typing in the chat on the giveaway, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the investigations. But all in all, guys, I think we covered a lot about doing good investigations. And I think if you stick to a lot of the guidelines like I talk about, again, be professional, be courteous, and remember, you're there to help the people. And that's the number one thing, is helping people the best you can. And sometimes there may not be a solution. I mean, this is paranormal. Sometimes there's just not a known solution sometimes for some of these things. But, I like to still try to find out. I still like to try to make those connections with people. And it's just really good stuff. I really enjoy helping people. So, all right. So far we got Gary is interested in the giveaway. So he's chatted in there, or he's chimed in there. So I'm just gonna give a few more minutes to see if anybody else wants to join in the giveaway. Why am I doing this giveaway? As I had stated before in a previous video up to this, in case you haven't seen this, again, it's just like you see, like the background, and the green screen and the lighting, these type of things. This is all because I'm growing, and as I'm growing, I want to bring you guys, like, hopefully better backgrounds, better content, and things like that. We will continue to grow. We will continue to get better. We've got more things planned. We've got more interviews planned up. I've got even some co-hosts lined up that we're going to be doing some cool stuff. I've got, in fact, I believe I can probably safely announce that I will be having a co-host. This guy here is a really good guy. He has been involved in the paranormal and conspiracy world for a long time now, so it'll be a really good time. I think both of us will be good together. So we're getting ready to have a show soon, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be really cool. You guys are going to be excited to see that. So, all right. But yeah, I really wanted to make sure that I'm able to pay it forward to you guys, to make sure that you guys win or win. Yeah, that way you guys win something. Well, that's true. But no, I just wanted to make sure I pay it forward to you guys. I don't want to forget the people that made this channel, the people that started subscribing to me, and the people that are out there in the chat every day and things like that. I want to make sure that you guys are able to get something like that. So what I'm going to do is I will probably officially look at doing the giveaway. Now, so far, I'm only seeing Gary. Now, I did refresh. Yeah. So far, Gary, looks like you may be the only one in the hunt for this giveaway right now, which is good timing. It's good timing for you, especially seeing that a lot of people were told about the giveaway. So unless people are just kind of hiding back there saying, well, I don't want an Amazon gift card. That's cool. And Gary's like, quit trying to get more people in here. He's like, just you know, just call it so I can have it. So, but yeah, and so again, if you guys, now what I need you to do is send me. We're shy. Well, yeah, I see you see me. We're shy. Yes, I know you're shy. No, you're not shy. There's no way he's shy. Or I don't even know if it's a he. I'm sorry. Do I know it's a he? I don't remember. I see you see me. You're not shy. All right, you're not shy. So, are you part of the give? Do you want to be in the giveaway? Is that the whole thing? Because again, I want to make sure that I'm just trying to make sure everyone has that chance. Because I've been talking about it for a while. I'm gonna do more. So we're gonna again. I'm gonna do more in other shows. But I just wanted to make sure everybody had that chance today. So here's what I need you guys to do. Now, I need you to do this. And then and now I will have to probably announce the winner on the Facebook group. Or the Facebook group. Alright, everything normal. I'm assuming you guys are all part of the Facebook group. So, here's what we're going to do. The first person that can go to my website and tell me how many images are in the gallery, the image gallery, the slideshow. How many images do I have? All right, because it's a loop. How many images do I have? Well, the first person that can tell me correctly how many images I have on now the website is the everythingparanormalshow.com. So go there on the home. It's right on the home page. The first one to tell me how many images. Now, here's what you do. You email me at everythingparanormalshow. Now, it doesn't have the, so it's everythingparanormalshow@gmail.com. Got it? everythingparanormalshow@gmail.com. So email me the answer. The first one to email me with the correct amount of images on my website, okay, you will win the Amazon gift card. And I will, once I get a winner, I will announce it on the Facebook group, the Everything Paranormal Show. And then we will get you squared away. All right. So I think that may do it for this episode. And I apologize to you guys that did tune in. Okay. For those of you that tuned in and were chatting, and then seemed like I was ignoring you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why the Streamlabs did not give me my chat tonight. But I do want to thank you guys, seriously. For those of you that watched this video and bared through this, hey, thank you so much. Thank you again. And we'll see you in the next one, guys. All right, stay tuned. Or seek the truth.